The member for Morani, Glen Kelly. Good morning, Glen. How goes it?
Hey, good morning, Dales. What's happening in Rocky today?
Well, not much, really. It's just another day in paradise. Oh, look, your poon's looking good. As we come in, it's looking nice around the Yeppoon floodplain. There's a bit of angst, though, out between Baldercombe and the suburbs of Gracemere over Bess.
Yes, no doubt about it. Battery storage. You can see they're starting to get a bit nervous too, these guys. The J. Pierce Road battery project there has come to my attention over the last several weeks, and, it's prime land for residential and building, making them into industrial zones in and around so close to homes. I have an issue with that, let alone the people that have to deal with it. From where I stand, battery storage, everything has its place, but not where people want to live and can live and are living.
And I'm going to throw something in there, Glenn, from a caller we had this morning, Pat, who said that if there is a fire in this system, as was in the system in earlier, a year or so ago, then it's going to be quite catastrophic for the surrounding region.
Pat is exactly right. That's 100%. That's a lot of the problems with battery storage in and around, especially places like CQ, heading north. It's the humidity and the heat. We have different temperatures. Our weather's a lot different to other areas across Australia, I will say. These things get pretty damn hot, and they only rely on a fan to keep them cool. And when it comes to a fire, you can't put lithium out, so it's a waste of time trying to put the battery out that's on fire. You've got to keep things cool, and that's the batteries around it. So, these are all things that have to be taken into perspective. And Pat's spot on. A lot of people start to work out that renewables, it has a dark side, it has a dirty side, it has an ugly side, and this is another issue that I'll just keep fighting for and trying to put things right for the people of Morani.
No, sounds like an idea for me. I got to tell you, it's causing an awful lot of angst, awful lot. Now,
100%.
One that you've had a win on, the Moonlight Range Wind Farm.
The Moonlight Range Wind Farm is cancelled. So these developers, they were sneaking in around those mountains there for quite a while now, and there was always a flag with this particular project. We had Energy Estate and Res Australia walked away from the Moonlight Range area because it was too hard. It wasn't the right area, but we have Greenleaf walked in there and said it's the right place. So how do you deal with these fellas? It was something that was always, sat in the back of my head, what the hell's going on? And the people spoke. The Deputy Premier had the last say, and the Crisafulli government, they mean business when it comes to renewable energy, because with this impact accessible now, which is legislation on renewables such as wind and following with solar, they're big words, impact accessible, because it allows the communities to have their say, because it's only the people that live there in and around these communities, and even Rockhampton, for an instance, 40k from Rockhampton is the Moonlight Project, and we've woken up. We've worked it out that, in and around cities, in and around these mountains, pristine mountains at that, it's only the communities that can speak for the vegetation, the remnant vegetation and the wildlife in there, because they can't speak. They just have to cop what they're going to get. And the communities have had their say. Moonlight is done.
Now, can I ask a question, just harking back to the Baldercombe Gracemere situation with Bess? Is there a chance that this legislation will also encompass Bess?
Bess is something that batteries are something that's going to be around. We can't avoid that, like I said, and it is in the program. Rome wasn't built overnight. And 6 months ago, when the Crisafulli government got in, who would have ever thought we would be putting the sword to a wind project such as Moonlight? We've come a long way in 6 months, and things go. Politics doesn't move fast, but we get there, and it's all about how we're doing it in Brisbane down there when we get together, and batteries on the list, and one thing about the people on JPS Road, they're really fair income, and it's really good to see what they're doing because, as I say, the communities, they've woken up and they've brought the pitchforks out, and look out when they do, and that's what's happening in there.
Well, you keep those pitchforks out. I don't know if you're familiar with what Michelle Landry said on the show. I think it was last Friday when we were talking to her, and she made a comment about a chat she had, an official discussion with Tanya Plibersek when she was the minister in charge of all this. She said, if you go up to the top of Mount Archer and look out, you will see that Rockhampton will be surrounded by wind farms. That is hardly good for the environment. That is Rockhampton. And Tanya Plibersek allegedly said, well, that's the way I want to see it. That's what I want to see.
Yep. And
it's out of control.
It's out of control, and I've said it for 2 or 3 years now. Rockhampton's known as the beef capital of Australia. It will be, if the way we were going with the previous state government and where the federal government want us to go, it will be known as the Blake. That'll be the end of agriculture as we see it, and where people, the new frontier, where people can live in and around Rockhampton.
I agree with you as well. Okay, just going to touch on one more thing. The primary industries draft blueprint. You're working on that.
Hey, look out. So, for a decade, the former Labor government refused to plan for a stronger agricultural sector, leading to a profitability and potential of primary industries being put in around Queensland. But with our 25-year plan, we'll be practical. We'll deliver and build on collective knowledge of those who work, live and breathe in around primary industries. And I mean, it's so important, like the bush is back. I always thought that agriculture, food and fibre was a pretty important part of how we live and what we do. And the previous government, they couldn't have cared less. And I mean, so here we are, this Chris Foley government with this blueprint. We're moving forward pretty well. And on Monday there, it was good to see. I would have said there was probably 35, 40 people sitting in the room there at the Empire there, and they're all having their say about what agriculture needs to do, where we want to go with agriculture. And one of them, Dales, was, which I think everyone will agree, is water. Water is so important for agriculture. It's a big thing, and that's something the previous government didn't take as a concern with the big building of dams and what have you. So, I mean, these things need to be recognised. We need to listen to the people of the bush. We need to listen to the farmers. They know more than what the people in the cities know, because when you live in shadows like they do down in Brisbane and they don't even see the sun, what the hell are they going to know about what's going on to produce food and fibre,
Unfortunately, they think that the milk, the food, the cheese, everything comes from the supermarket, which in turn comes from a factory, but they don't know where the primary product comes to make those things.
Mate, it's so you're spot on, and I think with Rockhampton, I'll just stick with Rocky there. Rockhampton Regional Council area, we have $47 million per annum just out of livestock, and we have $14.2 million just out of cropping. Yeah. I mean, there's a fair bit goes on down in Rockhampton Regional Council there, and in and around the surroundings of Rocky. It's a pretty busy spot, and it's pretty incredible with what goes on with food and fibre in there. And Mackay region, for an example, obviously cane, $327 million per annum. So, it's a pretty important patch, the electorate of Morenni. We can turn it on to keep food on the table, right?
No, sounds good to me. Glen Kelly, member from Morenni, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thanks, Dale. Good on you, mate. All the best.
Talk to you soon.